In the dim glow of my room, the computer's screen seemed brighter than it should have. Its blue light bathed the scattered papers, empty coffee mugs, and tech magazines on my desk. One particular cover boasted the headline, "The Deep Web, What Lies Beneath." With a hint of a smirk, I thought about how little they really knew. The actual depths of the internet were so much murkier than what mainstream magazines suggested. My fingers danced across the keyboard, following the rhythm of a journey I had made countless times before. Past the conventional, the monitored, and the mundane, I sought the hidden corners of the digital world. The adrenaline was always in the discovery and pushing the boundaries of what was known and charting new territories. Today, however, I would stumble upon something truly unsettling. Deep within a forum that shall remain unnamed, between the discussions of cryptocurrencies and secret government files, there was a whisper. It wasn't loud, nor was it particularly prominent. A single post with an ominous title, "Has anyone checked out Nightmare Bazaar?" The author spoke of a site where you could auction and bid for experiences beyond imagination. But it was the reply below it that grabbed my attention. Written in chilling simplicity, "Be careful what you wish for." Intrigued, I sought out this enigmatic site. After layers of security checks and dead ends, I finally landed on a black page. There was no imagery, just white text, "Welcome to the Nightmare Bazaar," followed by a ticking countdown and an invitation to a dive into the abyss. The minimalist design felt intentionally stark, making the red enter button below it even more tempting. I hesitated for a moment, then clicked. The screen transitioned to a series of anonymous listings, each with its own nightmarish description and current bid. My heart raced as I read through titles like Chased by the Unknown and Trapped Below. There was something addictive about the sheer audacity of the site, offering glimpses into terrors unknown. I felt like Alice, peering into a digital wonderland that promised equal parts wonder and horror. Unbeknownst to me, this was the beginning of a dark spiral, a descent into a realm where the lines between reality and the digital abyss would blur. For now, however, I was just a curious explorer, teetering on the edge of a precipice that beckoned me to jump. And jump I did. The interface of the Nightmare Bazaar was eerily simple. Dark backgrounds contrasted with chilling white descriptions, making each listing stand out. To the untrained eye, it could have been any other auction site, but there was a palpable tension in the digital air. Each listing was brief, detailing only the essentials of the experience up for bid. Drowning but not dying, one read. Another offered, endlessly falling from a skyscraper. The title seemed oddly poetic, evoking terror through minimal words. But it wasn't just the descriptions that intrigued me, it was the sheer number of bids placed. Who were these anonymous users eager to dive into someone else's nightmare? On the sidebar, I noticed a section labeled Testimonials. Clicking it, I was led to a plethora of reviews. Some were filled with regret, stories of sleepless nights and paranoia, yet others spoke of enlightenment and an expanded understanding of self. One user mentioned how after experiencing the never-ending corridor, they'd faced the fear of confinement. Another referenced feeling an eerie connection to Neil Stephenson's Snow Crash, hinting that reality might just be subjective. I was torn between fascination and disbelief. Could this site truly induce such experiences, or were these just fabricated stories to draw in the unsuspecting? Deciding to dig deeper, I opened the chat function I noticed at the bottom right corner. Labeled Ask the Shadows, it pulsed invitingly. With a deep breath, I typed, "Is this real or just a game?" The response was near instantaneous, sending shivers down my spine. Both and neither. Curiosity can be a gift or a curse. Choose wisely. Before I could reply, the chat window closed, leaving me staring at the pulsating listings. The site felt alive, sentient almost, watching me even as I watched it. On a whim, I decided to place a minor bid on what seemed like the least menacing nightmare, lost in an endless library. The idea seemed almost comforting, a chance to lose oneself among infinite knowledge. Little did I know that the decision to bid would change my life in ways I could never have imagined. The bidding process was unnervingly smooth. After a quick anonymous sign-up, I entered a modest amount, my heart racing. The countdown beside the bid ticked away ominously, 4 minutes remaining. The tension of waiting felt tangible, like a weight pressing on my chest. Surprisingly, the last few seconds were the most exhilarating. It was akin to the high I felt as a kid, sniping last-minute eBay auctions. But this was on an entirely different level. The timer hit 0, and a cold, mechanical voice echoed from my speakers, "Congratulations on your winning bid." An email notification pinged on my desktop almost instantly. The subject read, "Instructions for Lost in an Endless Library." Hesitating only for a moment, I clicked on it. The email was brief: "Sleep tonight at precisely 3:13 a.m. Wear the enclosed earbuds. Let the experience consume you. Do not remove the earbuds until you wake up. Good luck." A small package attachment icon sat at the bottom of the email. Curiosity overwhelming me, I clicked it. My printer whirred to life, creating a QR code. Scanning the code with my phone, I was directed to a courier service, indicating that a package was en route to my location, estimated delivery in an hour. I felt a mix of anticipation and trepidation. What had I gotten myself into? This was more than just digital whispers. It was becoming tangible, almost too real. The hour passed slowly, every tick of the clock echoing my growing anxiety. Finally, a soft knock at my door broke the silence. An unmarked package sat on my doorstep. Inside, a pair of sleek black earbuds rested, cold to the touch. Along with them was a small note: "Remember, 3:13 a.m. Dive deep but find your way back." Night had always been a solace for me, a time of quiet reflection. But tonight, it felt alive with expectancy. As the appointed time neared, doubt gnawed at me, but the allure of the unknown was stronger. I settled into bed, earbuds in place, and waited for the digital lullaby of the nightmare bazaar to take me into the abyss. Darkness gave way to a vast, dimly lit expanse of towering bookshelves. The tops disappeared into the shadows above. The scent of old leather and decaying paper filled my nostrils, a haunting blend of nostalgia and foreboding. The silence was oppressive, punctuated only by the soft thud of my footsteps on the wooden floor. Each step echoed, creating an illusion of company in this vast, lonely space. But that illusion shattered quickly when I tried to call out, my voice snatched away by the void, leaving me in stifling silence. Time seemed distorted. Hours. Days. I couldn't tell. Every turn led to more shelves, each filled with books bearing indecipherable titles. My fingers brushed against their spines, feeling the chill of forgotten stories and lost memories. The sensation was suffocating, like being trapped in a twisted reflection of Borges' Library of Babel. As the desolation deepened, eerie whispers began to weave through the air. They were soft, almost imperceptible at first, but grew louder with each passing moment. Words, phrases, sentences from various languages, none of them familiar, yet all of them tinged with palpable despair. A growing unease clawed at me, the weight of the endless shelves pressing on my psyche. But just as the feeling became unbearable, I jolted awake. My sheets were soaked, my heart pounding against my ribcage. The room was silent, but the lingering sensation of the library's oppressive vastness remained. As reality settled back in, I was left in awe of the intensity of the experience. How was it possible for something digital to feel so real? It transcended virtual reality or any gaming experience I'd known. The pull of curiosity was even stronger now. What was the origin of these nightmares? Who had lived this despair before it became my own nocturnal journey? The allure of the nightmare bazaar became irresistible. Every evening, as the world around me sank into twilight, I found myself drawn to the glow of my screen, eagerly placing bids on more intense nightmares. The thrill of the unknown, the very human desire to confront our deepest fears, consumed me. Buried alive was my next conquest. I experienced the chilling sensation of enclosed darkness, the weight of the earth pressing down, my own shallow breath the only sound, the tightness around my chest, the desperation to break free. It all felt too real. Next was haunted by shadows. Ethereal figures lingered just at the edge of my vision, their whispers a cacophony of unintelligible murmurs. They would dart away each time I tried to focus, leaving a trail of icy dread. The fear was palpable, the feeling of being watched constant. But as the nightmares grew in intensity, the line separating them from my waking world began to blur. Mornings after a session, I'd often catch fleeting shadows out of the corner of my eye. Once, while making breakfast, my reflection in the toaster seemed wrong distorted in a way that sent shivers down my spine. Whispers, once confined to the nightmares, now lingered in the silence of my apartment. Soft, muffled, always just out of reach, they'd float by like an unwanted memory. These weren't mere after effects, they felt invasive, a haunting spillover from the digital realm into my reality. I began to dread mirrors and reflective surfaces. The subtle distortions, though brief, hinted at a malevolent presence lurking nearby. Every shimmer, every shift became a potential harbinger of something darker, waiting to emerge from the abyss I had so carelessly dived into. The virtual experiences of the nightmare bazaar, it seemed, weren't confined to the digital. The question loomed, had I merely unlocked latent fears, or had I invited something far more sinister into my world? One evening, amid the usual litany of horrors, a unique listing caught my attention. It stood apart, not just due to its evocative title, Echoes of Your Past, but also its staggering price. Each bid was easily 10 times the amount of the others. The description simply read, "Face your own demons, not for the faint of heart." My mind raced. What could be so intense, so personal, that it demanded such a premium? My earlier experiences, despite their terror, felt distant, external. But this promised a journey inward, a descent into my own psyche. The stakes were higher, and so was the allure. Without a second thought, I transferred every digital coin I had and placed my bid. Hours felt like days as I waited, the tension palpable, my very soul on edge. And then, that cold mechanical voice, "Congratulations on your winning bid." Relief washed over me, but it was quickly replaced by a daunting realization. I had just paid a small fortune to confront my own past. The next day, a parcel arrived. Instead of the now familiar earbuds, it contained an old-fashioned pocket watch. The craftsmanship was exquisite, with intricate engravings of celestial patterns. The watch's hands, however, were frozen at 3:13. Accompanying it was a note: "Wear at sleep. Remember to wind back time when you wish to return." As night approached, trepidation set in. But my obsession, the very human need to unravel mysteries, especially those of our own making, overpowered my fear. Clasping the watch, I lay down, waiting for 3:13 a.m., waiting to confront the echoes of my own past. Darkness gave way to the soft hues of an old memory, transporting me back to a time when the world seemed larger, and I, incredibly small. I found myself on a playground, watching in frozen horror as older kids took turns tormenting a petrified cat. I wanted to intervene, but youthful fear chained me in place. The guilt of inaction, long buried, resurfaced with acute clarity. The scene shifted. I was a teenager again, standing outside a weathered house on a rainy evening. Through the window, I watched the girl I once loved, laughing with someone else. The pang of first heartbreak, the raw, wrenching pain, enveloped me anew. A mischance, words left unsaid. Another flash, and I was in a dimly lit room, surrounded by pet boxes. The letter of acceptance to the prestigious art school lay crumpled in a dream sacrificed for the sensible path, the secure job. Regret tasted as bitter now as it did then. But as the dreamscape continued its dance, I began encountering memories that didn't belong to me. I was in a car, the heavy scent of alcohol, tires screeching, the world turning upside down. Then, in a hospital room, watching life ebb away from a young boy, the heart monitor's steady tone echoing my own despair. The grief was overwhelming, yet foreign. It wasn't my memory, but the emotion. The loss felt authentic. I tried to pull away, but the nightmare held firm, forcing me through a gauntlet of unfamiliar traumas, each more heart-wrenching than the last. As the intensity peaked, the weight of my own past mingling with these borrowed sorrows became unbearable. Desperate, I remembered the pocket watch. In the mire of my anguish, I wound it back, praying for an escape. Suddenly, I jolted awake. Trembling, drenched in sweat, the remnants of alien despair still clawing at my soul. Clutched in my hand was the pocket watch, now slightly warmer than before. Turning it over, a new engraving glinted in the dim light. Lucas. A chill ran down my spine. Who was Lucas? And why had I lived through the echoes of his harrowing past? With the enigma of Lucas now intertwined with my own experiences, I was consumed with a burning need to uncover the story behind the name. I began where every modern mystery seems to start, the internet. Hours turned into days as I trawled through social media profiles, online databases, and community forums. Every Luke became a potential lead, a possible face to the memories I'd unwillingly inherited. But a sea of generic profiles and inconclusive results threatened to drown my hopes. In a desperate bid, I turned to the old world charm of libraries and their vast archives of newspapers. Amidst the dusty pages and forgotten stories, I stumbled upon an obituary from a decade ago. Black and white, the image was grainy, but there he was Lucas. The familiarity was uncanny, his eyes seemed to echo the despair I'd felt in the nightmare. The obituary spoke of a man who was tragically taken too soon, leaving behind a grieving family. But what caught my eye was a small article on the adjoining page. Local man vanishes, dark web suspected. Lucas' name appeared several times, hinting at an alleged involvement with online black markets and underground networks. Though the details were scant, whispers of illegal trades and digital experimentations painted a murky picture. The deeper I delved into Lucas' history, the more it became evident our paths had crossed for a reason. The Nightmare Bazaar wasn't just an innocent playground for thrill seekers, it was rooted in something much older, darker, and more personal than I had ever imagined. Perhaps Lucas, like me, had been ensnared by its seductive allure, and now his memories, or perhaps his very essence, had found a vessel in me. Determination fueled by dread, I resolved to trace back the digital footsteps of Lucas. I needed to understand his connection to the Nightmare Bazaar and, more importantly, the cost of the games I'd been so recklessly playing. Lucas's last known residence, as per old records, was an aging house on the outskirts of the city. At first glance, it looked like any other forsaken place, consumed by time and nature. But as I approached, a faint hum and anachronism in this relic reached my ears. Pushing the creaky door open, the interior was a stark contrast to the decaying exterior. Amidst the peeling wallpaper and tarnished floors, remnants of a sophisticated technological setup lay scattered. Wires snaked through the room, connecting old computer terminals to what looked like biomonitoring equipment. It was as if the house was a living testament to a marriage between the old world and the digital age. In the dimly lit corner, a series of journals were stacked methodically. Each was labelled by a date. The early entries spoke of Lucas's fascination with dreams, the allure of the subconscious, and a burning desire to tap into the raw emotions they harboured. But as the dates progressed, the tone darkened. Lucas wrote of his success in not only accessing but extracting the essence of vivid dreams and traumatic memories. He spoke of a device inspired by the age-old concept of dream catchers, but with a modern, digital twist. It could capture these memories, storing them for later viewing or sharing. A chilling realization crept over me. The Nightmare Bazaar wasn't just about bidding on fictional terrors. It was an auction of real traumas, fragments of genuine souls, curated and displayed for the morbid curiosity of users like me. Lucas, it seemed, was both a pioneer and a victim. The weight of carrying so many tormented memories had driven him to share this burden with the world, perhaps in a twisted bid for relief or redemption. One entry, dated close to his disappearance, read, "The traumas are becoming too much. Every day, another soul screams in my mind, I have unleashed something I cannot control. I fear. I am becoming a mere echo, lost in the cacophony of their pain." It dawned on me that Lucas wasn't just the seller, he was the product. The pain, the sorrow, the nightmares, they were pieces of him, fragmented and sold, one bit at a time. And now, I was a part of that dark legacy, bound by the chains of others' memories and my insatiable curiosity. In the heart of Lucas's digital sanctuary, the air turned cold, and my every sense screamed a warning. From the darkness of the room, whispers echoed, becoming clearer, manifesting into chilling voices. "You've gone too far, Alex," one hissed. Eyes accustomed to the dim light, I saw them shadowy figures, mere silhouettes, standing at the edges of the room. They were the custodians of the Nightmare Bazaar, the entities who had kept Lucas's legacy alive, feeding off the traumas of countless souls. Lucas's gift to the world had been profitable. Another voice sneered. "We've expanded, adapted. Why destroy a good thing but you? You're a glitch, a curious bug we should have squashed. They were angry, not because I had discovered their secret, but because I threatened their twisted marketplace. Oh. One figure stepped closer, its features obscured but its intentions clear. Join us, Alex. Be part of the legacy. Lucas's memories are already with you. Or refuse, and we'll trap you in a loop of nightmares, each one worse than the last. The weight of the choice bore down on me. Oh. But Lucas's memories, however torturous, had also given me a gift. I remembered fragments of his tech expertise, designs he'd scribbled, code he'd written. Taking a calculated risk, I quickly interfaced with the still-functioning terminal. Using Lucas's uncode, I initiated a system override, sending the bazaar into temporary chaos. Oh. The shadows recoiled, their connection to the site disrupted. Seizing the moment, I bolted from the house, the chilling whispers of the admins fading into the distance. Oh. Breathing heavily in the safety of the night, the haunting reality dawned on me. The Nightmare Bazaar was but a drop in the vast ocean of the dark web. How many more such sites existed? How many more souls were ensnared in their sinister webs? My escape was just the beginning. Fight against this digital underworld had only just commenced. Oh. The aftermath of my encounter with the Nightmare Bazaar left an indelible mark on my psyche. While the physical threats of the shadowy admins remained at bay, the mental spectres proved much harder to escape. Every night, fragments of Lucas's memories, along with the suppressed traumas of countless others, invaded my dreams. I'd find myself in moments not of my own making, the heart-wrenching pain of lost love, the terror of being chased down in an endless alley, the sorrow of standing at a loved one's grave. Even though I knew these weren't my experiences, the raw emotions accompanying them felt as real as any I had ever known. Recognizing the toll it was taking on me, I turned to therapy. My therapist, Dr. Marsh, was an older woman with a reassuring demeanor. Initially skeptical, she soon grasped the magnitude of my experience. Instead of dismissing my cons, she encouraged me to share to bring out the echoing memories that clung to my mind like stubborn shadows. One evening, as I described a particularly haunting memory, Dr. Marsh leaned forward, her usually placid eyes clouded with recognition. That memory, it's not yours, but it's familiar. Another patient shared something very similar. The revelation was both alarming and relieving. I wasn't alone. With Dr. Marsh's guidance, I started a support group, aptly named Echoes. It became a safe space for individuals like me, who'd unwittingly delved too deep into the dark web's abyss and returned scarred. As weeks turned to months, the group grew, each member sharing, healing, and helping one another navigate the maze of borrowed traumas. We were a tapestry of interwoven experiences, each thread unique, yet part of our haunting whole. While Echoes provided a beacon of hope, in the stillness of the night, I often found myself contemplating the vastness of the dark web. The Nightmare Bazaar was just one horror among many, lurking in the shadows, preying on the unsuspecting. And as I tried to shield myself and others from its clutches, I couldn't help but wonder what other terrors lay hidden, waiting to be unearthed.